You know what, Jamie? Let's pop off right now. This is hit. This is the post-game show. Notre Dame, Clemson. Mike is on his way, I think. I couldn't wait. We got to get started.
We got to go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's get to people in the chat. Let's get to everyone. Drunk Vigo says A+. Everybody, thank you very much. E-Team TV says we lit. We are lit. Notre Dame 35-14. We are ND from Michael. LFG, we all know what that stands for. I can't say it because that'll get us in trouble on the YouTube. Can't say it. Let's see. Michael, to all the Marcus Freeman isn't over his head. Bob Davey, Notre Dame will need to throw the ball, have any chance to cleanse it, but they won't need to run the ball. Yay, yay. We Notre Dame. So okay, Jamie. Now we said in the preview show, Notre Dame has never pushed around a top team like this in a big game with the D-line. They are built on their D-line, right? Brzee and Miles Murphy and KJ Henry and all those guys, Tyler Davis. That's what they're built on. And here he is, the Godfather himself. The Godfather himself. We're all right. Live already, Mike.
You guys were like, okay, I can't be happy. I can't be more happy. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? This is awesome. I mean, this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm sorry, folks. You know why it's awesome? Because this is how you have to win at Notre Dame if you're going to challenge for a national championship. You have to be able to run the football. Marcus Freeman's building this the right way. This is the way you win. Finally, somebody gets it.
Let's go.
I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
Let's go. No, look, I want you to be happy.
Damn.
I want you to be happy. Let's check out. I'm going to check out the rushing stats real quick. Jamie, did you memorize them?
They were
260. Rushing stats?
It was 264, 5.6 per carry.
I want you to say it again. Say that one more time.
264. 5 points. It was 5.7 per carry because you take away the team -2 at the end.
Look at that. That's just beautiful. Look at that.
Diggs and Estime.
That is
Diggs and Estime.
Diggs and Estime go over 100.
Both over 100. And Clemson knew that they were going to run all game long.
They knew
were basically like, hey, we're going to run. We don't have any other options. And Clemson was like, cool. you just run it down our throats the whole game. And
this is amazing. I'm sorry, I'm fired up.
Yeah.
I see in all the fans, and I'm so excited. I really am. I don't know. I can't get too more. I'll let you. I'm finished. I'm sorry, Jim.
I mean,
No.
I will say, before this game, Greg and I specifically said, and I had said it too, that this was not the Clemson defense. This was not the Brent Venables Clemson defense. I know they got studs. They have all these D linemen. They're going to go in the NFL. They're going to have long careers, blah, 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 whatever, right? But they don't play the run like they used to. Yes, they have athletic linebackers, but they don't have ass kickers. They don't. And Andy had some ass kickers. Sorry, excuse my language. And
you say it. I don't care.
They took it to them. They took it to them.
Beautiful.
Look at Drew Pine's numbers in this game. And I know he had the nice pass at the end of the game, but it was the same as every other game. And so the only way Notre Dame could win this game on offense was do what they did. And man, did they ever do it. I didn't even think that they were going to run it this well. And you credit to the offensive line kicked ass. The backs did a great job.
Totally.
But obviously too, but you look at it, it was a total team. They get another freaking punt block. Another. I mean, you know it's coming. And it didn't matter. And
it was huge momentum too. Huge momentum piece right there. Just to get everybody going, it was beautiful.
Yeah. And Al Golden, what a game.
What a great
Dialed
game.
it up. Dialed it up.
They dominated the game.
Yeah.
They dominated the game.
You know what?
Garbage time. That's it.
Tremendous from the linebackers in this game. Marist and Bertrand, just
great
the way that they snuffed out Shipley the entire game. They had him out there. They had it locked in. They were locked in. They knew what they had to do, and they went out and did it straight away.
Clemson's a good rushing team. They can run the football. That's how they've, basically moved the football all year long. It's not like they've had a great passing game. So,
right.
And Notre Dame has struggled against the run until just recently. And man, it's just when you play like that, that's what gets people inspired. And this is going to help recruiting so much. It really is. I can't wait to see how this impacts recruiting and people getting excited. Man, I keep looking over at the side that the whole fans are still completely out there. It's just awesome to see this. And I mean, this is what we needed more than anything. It's just, it all the bad stuff, all of it's gone now, and it's just so
Who cares?
exciting.
Who cares? Like it doesn't, honestly, it means nothing. Like
not at
it
this
doesn't
point.
matter.
No.
All right. Just a couple other things real quick. One, this was the most rushing yards Clemson gave up since 2016. And that was Lamar Jackson. So literally the best running quarterback of the last 30 years, basically. Yeah. Him and Michael Vick. That was the most rushing yards that they had given up in a game since then. And the other thing is, considering the circumstances and what Notre Dame knew that they didn't have at quarterback and how they had to win the game and how they had to outcoach them, they had to out-physical them. This win, better than any Brian Kelly had at Notre Dame. I don't even think it's close. And people will say that Oklahoma 2012 game.
Nah,
look at that 2012 team. Look at that 2012 team. Look at this current team. And tell me this wasn't a better job by the staff. And just
by
a
the
tremendous
staff,
job.
especially, yeah. Because I mean, in 2012, at least you had pretty good quarterback play at that point. You know what I mean? In that game, they had good quarterback play. They didn't have that in this. And I don't want to disparage Drew Pine. He did what he had to do in the moments that he needed to do it. Congrats to Drew Pine for picking up this win, and it's important. It's a confidence booster.
It was like a windy day too. Like
I mean,
the wind and everything.
He wasn't going to go out and throw for 300 yards. It just wasn't going to happen. No matter, even if it was a clear day, it wasn't going to happen. But in a game like this, what you don't want to do is make a mistake. Because we saw with Klubnik and we saw with DJ, what a mistake means in a game like this. And so, Drew did what he needed to do, which was protect the football and not do something stupid with it. And he's done a really good job of that really all year. He hasn't made too many of those. And guys, that was what we were worried about, right, Jamie? That's what we were worried about, because watching Drew Pine in practice, that's what we would see a lot. But he has really done a great job of protecting the football, not putting Notre Dame in bad situations. And it was great to see Tommy come down and give him the big chest bump and everything. That was just, that was great to see. It's just, this is such a boost for the program, just the mental part of it and culture. So I can't be more excited, because all sides played extremely well. And it's just been so much fun to watch this. And I haven't had this much fun watching a Notre Dame game in a long time. It was just awesome. It was just so much fun to watch. So,
and too, like the game, like you mentioned it, like the game plan, like all sides. Just one focus. We have the game plan. We're locked in on the plan, and we are going to execute the plan. Like, that is a well-coached football team that we just watched. They had the plan. They were all bought in. They knew exactly how it needed to go, and then they went and did it. And that is, you can always tell, right? You can always tell. And this was the thing with, like, when they were struggling, when it was like, Marcus Freeman, is he in over his head? And it's like, I don't think he is, because they didn't look like Keystone Cops out there. They didn't look like Keystone Cops. They didn't look disorganized. It was just like there are plays that weren't getting made. And then suddenly you started to feel it. I mean, with the block kick, and obviously it's there, and then you get the crowd gets into it, and then you get, some stalled drives, and then you get the drive before the half where you just run it right up their face. Just right up their face. And that's when this is a special night. We're on for a good one. And then, obviously it played out with, we've talked about the turnovers. They were coming. We got to get the turnovers. And you block the punt for touchdown, interception, Ben Morrison. Then you get the pick six, Ben Morrison. I mean, it's just like, it just all kept building on itself. It was great. Like, it just, like you said, it was so much fun to watch, because it's like, that's a football team right there. That is a football team that believes in their coaches. They believe in each other, and they went out and did the thing. It was great. It was really good.
And guys, I cannot remember the last time I saw a team go against the defense, this good as far as overall talent goes, and just destroy them up front when they had no passing game really to speak of. They knew that Notre Dame was going to run the ball, and it just didn't matter. I mean, they just flat kicked their butt. And boy, talk about, what a great game by Diggs. What a great game by Audric. I mean, they picked up some tough yards, and they wouldn't have picked, like an average back isn't going to pick up some of those runs and those yards that they have. Those two guys have really become very, very good running backs in a short period of time. And so, boy, if you could just get the passing game going a little bit, this team could be pretty darn good. I mean, they really could be good. I'd like to see Reese get Pine out of the pocket a little bit more. With all these batted balls, I'd like to see that moving forward. Try and get him out of the pocket and get him some throws where he doesn't have to worry about getting batted down and things like that. But we're starting to see receivers step up. I mean, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about the future after this game. We talked about how important it was to at least have a great showing in this, and to absolutely tattoo Clemson. I mean, this is going to be a huge win in so many ways for Notre Dame, and I can't wait to see what happens. So, obviously we got Navy coming in, and that's never a fun game after a big game like this. So, Marcus
they got some
Freeman,
injuries though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched that game today.
Yeah.
They had a lot of guys go down. Yeah,
I didn't see it.
Their backup quarterback went down.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's been playing too. So
yeah,
they're in tough.
Okay.
Hey guys, bowl eligible. Notre Dame football, bowl eligible in 2022. Congratulations.
Who would have thought that after a couple after that Stanford game?
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound like hyperbole, but is that the best game a Notre Dame corner has ever had?
I can't think of one.
Who, like, seriously, who? Because it's not just the picks. And it's not just the pick six.
Oh, I know.
It's not just
balls defended.
The fact that it's against the number
and
4,
tackling.
but like the tackling, the passes defend. They went after him, and it was like they thought we're gonna get at this freshman kid, and
we're gonna challenge his manhood. Yes,
just didn't like tear them apart. I mean, what a terrible miscalculation that was, that they thought they could eat on Ben Morrison. He paid. I mean, honestly, you would think that they went after Deion Sanders in this game. It just, the way that he played, it was, I can't think of a better game in like the history of the program, especially in that big a moment. You know,
I think if you put, like, you could probably say, I mean, Julian Love had a lot of games like this.
Really. He had a lot of games, but like
not with a pick six and 2 picks,
like a pick six, another pick, and then a bunch of breakups, and then a bunch of tackles.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, he's had. If you go back and watch, he had like games like that where he had a pick six, but maybe not 2 picks in one game, but he had a lot of. This was
big plays,
actually very much like a Julian Love game.
It totally was a Julian Love performance.
But the point is, it's not even just that it was the best game, even if it was the best game or not. It's like, he's a freshman.
Yeah.
That's what's like
amazing.
They thought they were going to kill him.
Yeah.
And then he came up and did that. That's what makes it even crazier. That's what makes it just like a hello, like, this guy's a star now. Like, kind of, it was a star-making performance.
Yeah,
like, looks like we got a Clemson fan in the chat congratulating us on the win. JR the gent. You know what? Respect for coming in here and saying that. Good luck the rest of the way. It'll make me feel better if you guys run the table at this point. So I hope that happens. I want you to run the table. And so that'll be great. Anyway, continue about how good Ben Morrison is.
I didn't realize it was tied at Alabama LSU. I thought LSU won that.
Oh no, they're in overtime.
Yeah, I know
the guy hit the field goal. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I had to rush down here. I had to let the dogs out, and then you guys were already fired up with the show, man. They weren't even going to wait for me, I guess.
No, Bama's about to score here.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to. I was honestly, Mike, I was going to start the show with like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I was jacked.
You were that fired up.
I was so fired. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
I let out a primal scream at the Mayer touchdown at the end.
Oh, it was beautiful.
My children were concerned about Daddy's well-being. So
I thought it was a good
really
call. I mean, it was a good call by Reese. You knew that it would be open and that type of thing, and and it was just nice to get those two guys to connect, on the night and actually make a nice play. And of course, Mayer becomes the all-time everything tight end at Notre Dame because of it. So it was a big play.
It was
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, honestly, it was like the perfect crescendo, because they could have just run out the clock. They could have. But it was the final, like, we've got him wide open in front of the student section. It's just the best. Yeah. It's the best.
This is what I'll say. This was not the best. I lost $800 because of that call. Because I had
under.
No, well, they still would have hit the under even if they would have scored a touchdown there because it was 43.5. So I had a parlay. Esteme over rushing yards, got it. Esteme touchdown, got it. DJ Uongale under 185.5 yards passing, had it.
Oh,
and the under
the clock.
And if they have run out the clock there,
he doesn't get the yards.
Yeah.
Or if they put in Klubnik.
Brutal. Yeah. So even if Klubnik didn't throw that, but I mean, who cares? I don't care. Whatever. I won plenty of money earlier in the day, but but I was like, oh man, now they're just gonna get some garbage time yards here and then end it for me, and he just went over. But at the end,
so
I'll take it.
I got a story here for you. When I was in college, I was in a fraternity, and whenever you did something really dumb, we lived on like this big, the fraternity house was on this big giant, like 4-lane road right out in front. And anytime you did something really dumb or you got really drunk, the fraternity brothers would grab you, strip you down naked and tie you to the lamppost out in the median. And then of course you're tied. So all these people would drive by. I have a feeling we should do that to Christian McCollum. What you guys like that idea? Because of his beautiful pick on this. I think he kind of deserves it, don't you? We could just drive to Boston. We'll just strip him down naked.
You got to go with your feelings on these things, and I don't. I don't. I don't begrudge him.
No.
You know,
See, you're letting him
Go
off
with it.
too easy. You're letting him off too easy, man. No,
Listen,
we need to clown him. He deserves it. He absolutely does.
You picked him to lose too, Mike, though. Be
I
real.
did, but I had a reason. I had a valid reason. Eddie Mush was there, and I can't believe they won. So I was actually going to pick them. I really was, until I heard Todd was going to be there, and I'm like, oh man, there's no way they're winning. So it was, and of course, mine's just as dumb as his, I guess, when you think about it. But you know, I honestly felt like they had a great shot to win. I really did, because I knew they were going to play well. Because I knew what the narrative would be all week. You know, Notre Dame can't possibly move the football on this incredibly, 7 first-round draft picks on a defensive line. Yeah, whatever, man. Those guys got owned all night, and so I knew it was going to be one of those things where, this was going to motivate the team, and it's also kind of your whole season can be salvaged by beating this team, and they really did. And so I'm just so excited. I think the thing that surprises me the most, guys, in this game is how well Notre Dame's defensive line and their front seven played the run in this game. I really thought they did a tremendous job, and that I think is really one of the biggest parts that it's kind of going unnoticed a little bit in this. We talk about the rushing the yards and all this type of stuff and how efficient Notre Dame was and those types of things, but that defensive line did a tremendous job, and the front seven all together, and really the corners. And it was smart for Clemson to try and throw the ball outside, because Notre Dame had done such a poor job tackling out there in recent weeks. They, just too many missed tackles. So I could understand why they were trying to do it, but Notre Dame's secondary did a tremendous job tackling in this game, and that put them behind the 8 ball. And if you can get DJ in 3rd and long, you got a great shot to shut down that offense, and they did a great job. So.
Oh, they had him in 3rd and long so much in this game, right?
The whole first half, most of the game. Yeah.
I will say that you have to rip on Clemson and their staff for, like you said, Mike, the beginning to throw a bunch of those bubbles early and make them tackle. That's fine. But then after, when it wasn't working, you literally have a 250-pound quarterback, the guy who's got a rocket launcher attached to his arm, throw some of those seam balls, like literally, like just do it, especially when nothing's working.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean,
well, especially that's what hurt Notre Dame against Syracuse too.
Yeah. So I don't understand that part at all. Like, Clemson, I think just in general, like even what Clemson was doing to stop the run at the end of the game too, when they're just like, it was like almost like bringing a safety blindly when it was like, this is getting picked up every single time, and you're just adding in, and it was like down, block, whatever, pick a hole. Like, yeah. And I mean, they just did a poor job. Their staff, they got owned by Notre Dame staff.
Notre Dame staff totally outcoached them. Absolutely did. And we got to shout out to, the team leadership too, because that oftentimes we talk about, are you ready for a big game? Are you fired up? Team leadership had this team ready to go, and they came out from the first whistle, and it was just beautiful. So, 2-point attempt.
God, this is a total BK call.
He got it. They won the game. They just won the game. Wow.
Well, good for BK, but never won a game like that at Notre Dame. So
no,
get out.
No. That's right. Do you think this is it for Saban, by the way? You can tell it's kind of like it's starting to slide a little bit. Now he has an ego. He has an ego, so he probably
keeps going until he gets out on top, I think.
Yeah, and I think that his ego will push him so much that he wants to go out with one more, I think. So that may not be the case, but I don't know. It'll be interesting because he's going to get surly, and it'll be interesting.
I think they're going to fire the DC too. Yeah. I don't think Golding is he's been the guy who is like supposed to be kind of the next Kirby Smart, like that he's been grooming. And the defense just really hasn't been that good under him. They haven't. And I mean, they certainly don't lack for talent. They have dudes. So I just don't think they're they're as well coached as they used to be. Like basically how you saw Georgia play Tennessee today too. Like they literally were like, you're not going to beat us over the top. And then Tennessee couldn't beat them. Right. Like, because they just had better guys in the front seven. And, but for some reason, like, they were playing like one-on-one with their like a safety on a slot kind of thing against Tennessee, like Alabama was, and was like, why are you doing this? Like, I thought it was bad coaching. Right. And usually that's something that like, so I think Saban will probably reboot, and then they'll probably get it going again too. And I mean, let's not forget they're probably going to end up with like Caleb Downs and I don't know whoever. I mean, a ton of guys, whatever. So you never know.
We'll see. Yeah, the way things are going, you just never know. I really think we're going to see a lot of people bounce. Yeah, we're going to find out. But I think as signing day gets closer, you're going to see a lot more, fluctuation on these commitments and stuff, and that's when the real money's going to come out. And it seems like a lot of kids today, that's what they're focused on, is just kind of what is the hot thing right now, and so will they be able to hold on to all those guys? We'll see. The other thing I want to give NBC, they did a great job of allowing the coverage at the end to go on for a long time. That's a big commercial for Notre Dame in recruiting. It just really is. Most of the time they'll cut away, and I know they have Saturday Night Live coming up and all that type of stuff, but they hung in there for as long as they could to give Notre Dame that nice moment. And that was a nice commercial for recruiting, just to have, Marcus Freeman yelling in the camera. And it was just a very good moment. A lot of, and that's one nice thing about having NBC. If you were on ABC or those others, they would have just cut and that would have been it. So, so that was a nice thing as well. So I don't know, guys, I'm fired up, man. I can't wait. Can't wait to watch SC, here. I can't wait to see what SC looks like today. I really,
it is interesting now, like that game.
Yeah.
Is huge. Because like that is a way that like
you go out there and
USC
beat them.
Does not want to play like that. USC does not,
Exactly.
And
they
like
can't
the
play that way.
This team gets to.
Yeah.
Notre Dame will run for 300 on USC.
Yeah. It's just whether they can slow SC tough, down or not, Yeah. But how many opportunities are they going to get? Because if Notre Dame can control the ball with their running game like they are, and it's such a front running team that, with a team like USC, they're very good, but their culture isn't set yet. They have a lot of talent. So you smack a team like that in the mouth and you keep smacking them in the mouth, they tend to quit more than, say, a Clemson would. I don't think Clemson really kind of quit until that last drive on offense. I didn't really see any quit in that group, but it was funny because I was talking to my wife and I'm like, they got to be getting tired because Notre Dame just, they were smacking them all game long, and that wears on you. Unless you're Yama, that really wears on you.
I mean, what can I say?
You would have held up, but everybody else, they wear down.
I always said Clemson, they could have used me.
They could have.
Right? Yeah, honestly, right? I think that's true.
That's what they were missing on
they probably would have won if they had Yama.
Of course.
Yeah,
that's what they were missing.
They probably would have won.
The thing is, though, you could tell like Clemson didn't have it right away. Yeah, it was because Notre Dame was running it. Like they were early. I'll bet you their stuffs tonight are just unbelievably low. Like the line yards and that sort of thing, like yards before contact and stuff. Like they were moving the line in a way that was, I don't want to say shocking, but like, wow, they're really doing it. Like they're really doing that thing.
Man, did you see Blake? He had some just bone crushing blocks in there. Blake and I thought Lug had a couple of really nice blocks in there too. And all across the board, I thought the offensive line did well. And Patterson and even Carell were owning Brzee in there a lot of the time as well. So it was fun to watch. It really was. All these great players, Miles Murphy, all these guys that are supposed to be so good, they didn't show up. Just didn't show up. So Notre Dame ate their lunch.
42 running back runs, 3 stuffs.
Is that what it was?
For Clemson. Like that's insane.
That really is. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. You're owning the line of scrimmage when you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
So I just can't wait to see what ESPN says. But it'll probably get glossed over because LSU won. You know what I mean? And that's
I'm sure that'll probably happen.
Exactly. And it's just like, come on, man. But it was, I don't care what anybody says, it was a big win. Huge win for Notre Dame. Absolutely huge. And,
so where are they ranked now? Where are they ranked?
They got to be top 20.
Yeah, I would think that they climb in there. I think we knew Clemson, Syracuse wasn't very good. I think all three of us knew that.
Yeah.
But Clemson is a pretty good team. I don't think that they were the number 4 team in the country. I'm not sure who is. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know who is. There's not a lot of great teams out there. And there's like anybody from 5 on down could beat anybody in any given day. They really could. And so,
And he's going to have 2 top 15 wins too.
Yeah, sure.
North Carolina's going to be top 15 as well.
Well, at what point do you say like maybe they shouldn't be behind North Carolina anymore? Because they didn't just beat them; they spanked them.
No, but you know,
I understand.
They lost to Stanford and Marshall. You can't take them off the board.
I understand that, but that's not indicative, though.
Well, I'll tell you this.
You play bad. I get it, but
I agree with Greg.
Notre Dame is better than North Carolina. Notre Dame.
They're obviously better. Carolina.
If they played them today, they would beat them. Notre Dame would beat them again if they played them today.
Because here's the other part: it's inconsequential.
Yeah,
it'd be one thing if it was for a playoff spot, but it isn't. Like it really means nothing. So rank them above the team that they absolutely dominated on the road with the backup quarterback.
Yeah,
seems fair to me. Seems fair.
Robert Pacheco, what's your problem, man? You're just a down on your luck guy. Foskey, once again, MIA in a big game. This is what you took away from the game. Yeah. This is what you took away from the game. Also, he had a sack to end out the half too. Like, come on, man. Smile a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy yourself, Robert. Come on.
You ought to be able to have a little bit of fun after a win like this.
If you're not having fun after this, take a walk, man. You got to have some fun. Enjoy it.
Well, I hope, we got a lot of guys on the site who tend to lean towards the negative. They're just are. I want to see what they have to say. And
I do want to see what they have to say.
I do too. And look, I'm never, the most positive person, but I really felt like they had a legit shot to win this game. And, Yama and I have talked about it on air, off the air type of thing. And I think we both felt like they had a real shot. It's just, I don't think anybody thought that they'd dominate in the running game as much as they did. And boy, that's impressive. I'll tell you what, man, if you're an offensive lineman and you watch this, oh man, where do I sign up, man? Where do I sign up? That would be like, I mean, talk about a big win for Harry in recruiting. I mean, you almost don't even need to recruit when you play like that.
Running
that's
back.
What offensive linemen want to do. Yeah, exactly. Thank God you got Aeneas Williams there. That guy is who they need in this class. They absolutely need to grab that guy. I love that guy. I think he's just going to be a tremendous player. But to have him on campus and to see that kind of performance, that's really going to help too. So.
One other thing I wanted to mention too, because we've been calling for it pretty much the whole year. Finally got Tyree some passes on the perimeter.
Amen. Yes. And they were big plays.
And they were big plays. First downs, how you manufacture first downs.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Just so they were saving it and they used it in this game and they did do that. And I think that was, really important in this game. Yeah.
Absolutely. Been a lot
I'm
of
just
fun.
checking out Tyree's numbers here. Tyree 2 for 26 in the air, which is a huge game considering Notre Dame only completed 9 passes.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's the second leading receiver on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe we don't need to have this conversation now, but Lorenzo Styles, man,
wow, it's obviously in his head. It's obviously in his head.
We got to get him some.
They need to just get him. Well, this is like the perfect time if hopefully you do well enough against Navy and some of this. I mean, he's obviously a super talented kid. Like you got to keep doing it for him and giving him chances because they need him. They need him, even if it's not for this year.
I mean, it's crazy. Jaden Thomas is the best receiver on the team right now. I mean, he just is. He's the best receiver. Who would have thought that going into fall camp? You know what I mean? Who would have thought that? And that's no disrespect to him. I mean, he's playing really well, really
great catch
well
on the sideline too,
and great blocking. I mean, the dude's just blocking like a monster. Oh, Mitch Evans today again, man, big blocking inside, really, really good. So much fun to watch this. So I don't know. We'll see. I just can't wait to see what Marcus Freeman can do with the momentum of this now. He's going to get and do all the things that he's doing right now with guys on campus, but he's going to get on the phone, and now he's going to do some real selling, and it's going to be fun to watch. So,
well, you can't say he's in over his head at this point.
No,
can't say
no. Well, a lot of people
you know
did, and it's just like, I mean, come on, man, let's get out of here. I can't believe people thought that. I can understand why people would be concerned. But, people are like, oh, you got to fire him. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's like, I mean, you 5 games into it, you want to fire the guy? Come on, man. So it just, I think he's going to right the ship now. And if Notre Dame could get some help with some NIL, I'm not saying buy players, but just make sure that the players they do have legit money so they can then say to these guys, look, we may not give you this money right up front to come, but if you do and you do play well here, here's what we can get you. That's what really matters at this point. So now, do you think I said before the game, I think that if Notre Dame plays well in this game, they're going to hold on to Peyton Bowen. I got to believe he loved it. You know what I mean? I just think the guys wanted to come here. He just had doubts, and how could you not?
Is like, just for me personally, like watching this defense play,
it was like so awesome.
They were on it. They were everywhere. They were on top of everything.
Gang tackling like we used to see.
DJ Brown had a huge game there, and he was just like a step off, or like he was a little bit early, like on his pass.
Boy, did he time up that blitz
on that pass timed up the blitz, and then he flips over and then gets up and gets the hurry again. Great play by him. That's it.
Totally. And that was not pass interference on him. It was, I mean,
it was a great play.
Worse. I mean, you got to give the guy a chance. He's going for the ball just like everybody else. Yeah. Terrible.
ACC refs.
Terrible. And it was funny because I was like, oh, well, here it comes. Can't have the ACC champ out of the
I know.
You knew this was coming.
What in the world are they doing not calling a late hit on Pine? It doesn't have to be targeting.
Oh, certainly.
The ball is so far out of his hand. And he takes 2 steps, hits him in the head.
Yeah.
And you're not calling it. Like in the year of our Lord 2022, that gets called 100% of the time. 100%. And they don't call it. They eat the whistle. And then Clemson has this long drive that is just basically 60 yards of penalties.
Yeah.
And Ben Morrison said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Not having it. It's coming back.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Notre Dame's first red zone stop of the season.
Yeah.
They have 1 red zone stop. Actually, I should say that red zone possession did end in a touchdown for Notre Dame.
Yeah, it did.
It still ended in a touchdown.
That's true. Yeah.
So I guess maybe it isn't a red zone stop in that sense. But that is their 1 stop this year, and I enjoyed it. So.
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, I hated to see him score. You knew that they were going to score. It's frustrating to watch it. You want to hold them out. But I said, boy, as soon as that pick 6 happened, I looked at my wife and I said, oh, they're going to be so gassed, because there was like, 10 plays. They get down there and then he picks the ball off. And I'm like, oh, man, they got to go right back out there again. That's
right. So they all sprint down there and then they're all jumping around.
And then they have to get right back out there and do it again. I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well. But it is.
You know who I thought this gets forgotten because it was so long ago. But I think the player who really set the tone early from a cornerback standpoint was Cam, because he came up a couple of times on those wide receiver screens and he was jumping it, and he made the tackles, and then he drew a holding call. And so that's like that. Great job by Cam. Great job by him. Set the tone, I think, for the whole night, and then it just kind of manifested from there. So great job by him. It was really great to see.
Should we ask it? Do people have questions?
Yeah, if you got questions
people are just celebrating.
As they should be.
Celebrations, right? It's all celebrations. We're all just hanging out, having a good time. Oh, question. Let's go from Michael. Does this win reopen some doors with some prospects, recruits? I certainly hope so.
I doubt it for 2023. It may, but I doubt it. I think this is a 2024 win. You know what I mean? And needed to. This wasn't. I was surprised. I thought there'd be more talent coming in for this game. I thought you would see more 2024 guys coming. But what it will do is it's going to open up a lot of eyes. People are going to look at it and say, "Oh, well, Notre Dame was down, but now look what they've done. They've beaten Clemson. They're kind of on a roll right now, and it looks like Marcus Freeman is doing what he's been telling us was going to happen. It's now finally starting to happen. So I think it's a win for 2024 recruiting. Would it help, a guy like, say, a Tayshawn Lyons or somebody like that? Potentially, but, Tayshawn Lyons may be completely out of the mix by the end of this weekend.
I think Notre Dame might have moved on from him.
Yeah, they may by the end of this weekend, certainly. So and there's other guys that they've offered that they like. And so, but I could see a person like that. It could maybe move the needle, or maybe a quarterback who was interested in Notre Dame. They may take a longer look at Notre Dame at this point in 2023, but I don't think it'll move the needle much for 20.
I think the main thing is it secures the class. I think that's the big thing. I think Mike is frozen here, so I think that's the main thing, right? That ends up being securing the class and getting those guys in. I think what it means in terms of say a guy like Dylan Edwards, he visiting Kansas State, he was going to him I think that's the kind of thing of you're like, oh, Dylan Edwards. Well, they lost to Texas today, and Clemson. He's probably wishing, man, I should have went to this Clemson Notre Dame game. So I think that's the kind of thing that does kind of matter. It does matter.
Did Kansas State get beat, by the way?
They did. They lost to Texas 34-27.
Ooh, they got to be bad too. Well,
yeah.
You could have been here, and but hopefully, he understands that. That this is, look, if you're a running back and you don't want to get in on this, then I don't know what to say about that. I think for me, Peyton Bowen, solidifying Peyton Bowen, I think he's just such a big recruit for Notre Dame. I could see him starting next year. So that's a real big one. Let's get a question from CFB Hertz. What's your take on the trenches? Clemson front seven overrated, or does Notre Dame have the best O-line of the past decade?
Well, I don't know about the past decade. But for an ND team, I think this is probably, they're certainly playing at a level where it's I'd say as good as any time the 2020 season, which obviously had, a really good, they had a really good line. They also had some pretty good tight ends. So I think this is right around that, but I think you still have guys like Fisher and Alt who are getting better. And that's the other thing. Right. And then I also think just defensively, on Clemson, they're good, but they just weren't as good as advertised. I think Trent Simpson plays Mike Backer for them, or he's a Will Backer basically. And he's more of a space guy. So him and Barrett Carter they have two guys who are space guys, but only one guy can actually play out in space. And then especially when you're playing constricted and you got two guys who are kind of more converted safeties than true inside linebackers. Trotter is more of a true inside backer. Yeah. That hurts too, because you don't have that guy. They don't they kind of miss some of their old school guys. I can't remember the name of that one guy who was Skalski. Yeah. That's the kind of guy who would have they needed in this kind of game. And then I think you look at Brissy is not that dude right now. He's gone through a brutal year with, I can't even really imagine. He lost his sister earlier this year. He's been hurt too. And anyone look at him, he never really had that gut before, that kind of thing before. He's not in the same kind of game shape that he usually is. So normally that's a guy who would have at least dominated just one play. But the fact that you just didn't see that from any of that, you didn't see Miles Murphy take over a play or take over a series, or even Davis it's and he's a good player. So you have to tip your cap to Notre Dame's O-line. I think they just won the day.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. All right. Next question. Does this type of win, limited passing, quarterback success have any impact on quarterback wide receiver recruiting, positive or negative?
I would
I
say
don't think so, because I think people by this point understand.
I think they understand
me,
what's going on.
I think to me, you want to be a part of a good program, just period. You want to be a part of a winning program. You know you have CJ Carr coming, right? You know what Tommy, like, you can see, you can watch the game, you can see people are open, so you just, it's like, okay, they need a better quarterback situation. CJ Carr's committed. They're working on someone for 23. They're going to upgrade the position in 2023. So I don't see it being a huge negative. And they, like I said, they already have CJ Carr committed in the class, so it's all good in my opinion. On that front.
I don't think that this. I mean, they need to keep winning to entice another 2023 quarterback to come. Like, I think that's the main thing. And they understand, like, with a better quarterback, you're right now all they're selling is like, if we had you, this is what we'd be doing, whatever, right? And I mean, is it better if you're slinging it around? Yeah, for sure. But it's most important that you win.
Yeah. For Josh Schuster, what was more fun? What Morrison did, or Alt Fisher literally taking Clemson's lunch money? I'll say yes. I honestly, it's all awesome, all of it. There's no more. It's like children at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not choosing my children, so that's how.
Let's call it a tie. Yeah.
Yeah, call it a tie. Question to anyone on the field: how was the atmosphere? They kept saying it was loud, but just wondering if it was loud or really loud. I saw reports that the press box was shaking during the Morrison run back, so seems loud, I guess. On that front.
I mean, I think the other thing is that, like, there's been some of these games too. Like, Stanford was a night game; they didn't give them reasons to cheer. Like, there was a ton of reasons for the Notre Dame fans to cheer in this game, and that was great.
Yeah. What shows more to recruiting, the win or the freshmen balling out?
I think the win, but I mean, the freshman, that certainly
doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt, but I think the win matters. The win, beating a top 5 team, beating a Clemson, because this is what, if the whole thing with Marcus Freeman is you're coming in and you're selling a vision of, like, this is who we're going to be. And look, already in year 1, they beat a top 5 team, right? And they can just say that, like, and not just that they beat up a top 5 team, they whooped a top 5 team, right? So that kind of thing matters. Like, it matters. And it's just say, like, this is what we're doing. We're close. We already did this without you. Now imagine what we could do with you. And that's kind of like where you go from there.
I saw a couple comments in here about Shipley and stuff. And I got to give credit to Joshua Voles from 1 Foot Down, who said, like, on signing day, I'd rather have Estime Diggs than just Estime, or just Shipley. Sorry, the combo, right? And it's like, okay, that's a take, right? I think everyone wanted the recruiting ranking, but he said those two guys are better. The tandem of them, not one, but the tandem. And you see it tonight, right? Both go over 100. Both, I mean, just heavily involved in Notre Dame win. And I mean, you got to, like, kind of tip your cap to Lance Taylor, who everyone kind of gave a hard time for, all eggs in one basket and that sort of thing. And he rebounded, right? He rebounded the way coaches should, right? And he made the best of it. And those two guys won Notre Dame the football game. So big credit to them. I'm just kind of going through some, if there's more questions here. There's some kind of trolley questions. We don't want to get into that. Do you want to talk about transfer portal quarterbacks, Jamie? Or do you want to do that for another one?
I mean, we could talk about it now. I mean, we're going to be talking about that for the next few weeks. So, like, all right,
Joe, right now, we'll get to that on another show. You know what? Come show up to Hit and Hustle. We'll talk about it then.
We'll talk about it on Tuesday.
It's a good Hit and Hustle topic. Yeah. So 8:30 Pacific AM, 8:30 AM Pacific, 11:30 Eastern. That's when we'll go. We can talk about it then. What do you think? What do you think of Golden's strategy for saving all the turnovers for the second half of the season? I enjoyed it tonight. I enjoyed it on this night.
I mean, I think he's what a brilliant guy.
All the turnovers they didn't get against Stanford, they all came due today. So
yeah. I mean, it was called a great game. I mean, he really he dialed it up all at the right times. And if you think about even early in the game too, how many times that Ulangalele dropped back and he had nothing. he had nothing there, right? And that's the call. I mean, obviously the guy's executing the calls, but that's a call.
Who gets the game ball for you from a stubborn Mick?
You know what? I think the game ball's got to go to Marcus Freeman. I think that's what you do. You got to say Marcus Freeman gets the game ball. I mean, obviously you could give it to Benjamin Morrison. You could give it to the offensive line. You could give it to, Diggs or Stemme or whatever. Like you could give it to a lot of guys. Like JD Bertrand had a great game. There's a lot of guys who had great games, right? But I think that's what you do is like, even if he's handing it out, you just flip it back and say, this one's for you, coach. Like that's the one. That's the one. Or you maybe give it to Al Golden. Brian Mason, I think, has got a permanent game ball somewhere for this season. Like, wow, what a job.
When does the statue go up?
For Brian Mason? I don't know.
I mean, is he or is he not? Is he or is he not like the greatest special teams coach in the history of sports? Not just Notre Dame, but like in all. What did I say, Jamie? What did I say on the preview? It is the season of block punts, and they're gonna get another one. And lo and behold, the first punt of the game.
It wasn't even just that they got those punts too. They got that one, but they basically that whole game like screwed up that was it for that that punter. You know what I mean? Like he didn't punt well after that. Like he maybe had one good punt after that. Like, I mean, he had a 24-yard shank after that. Right. So I know. Yeah. That's a other good point where Harry Heastand, you could give the game ball to too. Like
let's look at our boy. Let's look at our boy Dabo. Let's read the quote. You ready for this? Let's read it. This was an ass-kicking period. We've handed out a bunch of them too. Tonight we were the bug. We got the bad end of the deal. Credit to Dabo, man. Truth telling, right there.
I will say Dabo does say that kind of. I mean, he does tell it like it is there. I mean, I'm not a fan of him at all. Really enjoyed. Go back and Google that Will Leach piece he wrote a few years back, talking about how he's like the worst person in college football. It was a really funny read. I highly recommend that. But I'll say this, man, like Dabo's the kind of guy, like you could tell, like after at the end of the game when he's talking to Freeman, like, I mean, I think he was like, understand that his team got his ass kicked, but I think he's like saying genuinely nice stuff to Freeman too. Like, right. I'm positive he was doing that.
I mean, look at it. Good for him. He is the type of guy who will tell it like it is, and he's not going to sugarcoat everything. And truth teller, man, truth teller. Let's see. Statement from William Matz. We beat them in basically every aspect tonight. I'm sleeping well after some Malort. Okay, is that a drink? I assume it is.
I'm going to guess it is.
Alcoholic beverage.
Enjoy it.
Bigger win tonight. I'm going to say Notre Dame. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to say Notre Dame. Because they needed it more. LSU doesn't need to win.
LSU has also beat Bama. Like Ed O beat Bama multiple times.
Right. Yeah. Like they recently won a national title. People get it wrong about the BK stuff. No one said that. Well, I guess some people said, but like I don't think either of us said the guy couldn't coach. We know he's a good coach. We wanted to leave. No, we weren't asking him to leave the program. We don't like BK because of the way he left the program. He tried to end the program. That's the thing. It's not that he left, or it's not that he couldn't coach and we don't like him. It's because he tried to take Marcus Freeman. He tried to take Tommy Rees. He tried to take all the recruits. He tried to end the program right before they went to the Fiesta Bowl. That's why we don't like him. It has nothing to do with the coaching. And so that's what it is, right? And I don't have to like him, and I don't. Like, that's what the guy can coach. That wasn't the problem. He wouldn't have won this game. Okay? I just don't think he would have, because he usually did not. And so right? So I just, you know, I go ahead.
Well, I was going to say there's somebody who, because I tweeted out that this win was better than any win Brian Kelly had at Notre Dame before the game. I mean, when the game was in hand, right? It was over.
Yeah.
And then somebody who I assume is an LSU fan said, "Oh, Brian Kelly's win was better than any win. Win tonight was better than any win that Notre Dame has had in 3 decades." Which, no. No,
Clemson's ranked 4 and Bama's ranked 6.
Yes.
What are you talking about? Like, first of all, that.
Congrats to beating one-loss Bama. When they're clearly not. I mean, when you just saw today, Tennessee got taken to the woodshed by Georgia, and then you saw Tennessee beat Alabama. It's like
by 4 touchdowns.
You're beating.
Thank you.
Congrats on getting Bama in their down year. Like,
let me ask you this, Jamie: would Brian Kelly have beat Bama with Drew Pine at quarterback?
No, he wouldn't have. And that is also what makes this win different too. They literally, like, Clemson said, go back and look at everything Clemson's coaches said before the game. They literally said, we know that they're going to run the ball, that they're going to try to be more physical than us. We got to get ready. We got to do all this. What do you think they did? The entire week they got ready for this scenario, and they still got whooped.
And they still got slapped. So, you know,
you tell me,
Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman. You know, the BK got the benefit of another team's backup quarterback. Clemson, the number 4 team, got the backup quarterback, and they still got whooped by 3 touchdowns. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to hear about that stuff. No, Jamie is right. You know what? I'm going to go with this. I'm just going to put it up. Thank you thank you for the sentiment. We appreciate it. All right. Jamie, I guess final thoughts. We're at an hour, basically. I mean, what do you want to say? Do you want to keep going? Do you want to what do you want to do?
No, well, I got to do some writing, so I got.
Jamie's got to do some writing. Okay.
I mean, I'll say, man, I'm excited to hear the updates from, Christian and Matt. Obviously, are going to be all over this. In terms of like updates in the recruiting. So check out Irish Sports Daily for all that kind of stuff, because obviously there's going to be a lot of buzz going on from there. There were a lot of people in the house. Looked like there was some like bad weather that some people couldn't make it because of, the wind and all that. So, but still, there was still a ton of guys out there. I'm excited. I'm excited to see, what the reaction is of that. And I'm excited. Now I'm more excited about this team than I have been the entire year, because honestly, there's a lot of times too, especially after that Stanford game, you're just like, that could have like ruined the entire season, and this team could have won into a hole, and they didn't. They came out, they bullied Syracuse, they bullied Clemson, and obviously they still have work to be done. They got to beat Navy. They got to beat a bad Boston College team. They have to, and everybody knows that like Boston College, even when they're bad, somehow, seems to play Notre Dame pretty tight. So that's something that you got to watch too. But, and then they got to go out to the West Coast and they got to beat up USC. And that's really what it comes down to. Right. And all of a sudden, winning out isn't out of the question. It's not out of the question. And I think it might even be likely at this point. So, I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest of the year.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We had a great time. This is awesome. Notre Dame 35, Clemson 14. I'm going to be tomorrow morning. I'm going to be up 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern.
Yeah, everybody tune in for that.
We're doing the morning after recap. We're just going to do some more celebrating and all that stuff. It's gonna be great. It's having a good time. So hey, hit the like, hit subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live tomorrow morning. We're gonna be talking stats, we're gonna be talking plays, we're gonna be talking everything. All right. So tune in with us. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody, and we will talk to you tomorrow morning.